How are you feeling?
Well,
How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Could you give me some idea?
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them. I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do, and this influences my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for the people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
the end. There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the dystopia. This is the final time. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the dystopia. This is the final
What's up, guys? What's up? Hey, guess what? Breaking news. I got a new microphone. And that's really the important news of the day. The important news of the day is that I got a new microphone and it seems to be working. And it's very fancy and it has a blue thing. I don't really like the blue myself. I kind of want to put a piece of black tape over that. Because I'm like, I might be a professional streamer on the internet, but I don't need to be getting involved with like neon and stuff like that. I understand my logo is neon and I understand it's ironic, but like, yeah, I'm a professional streamer on the internet. Is there a way to turn it pink? Yeah, it's glowing. My microphone is glowing. My microphone is glowing. Yeah. Oh, you stupid person. Not only are you using the N-word with the hard R in my chat, you think we're talking about Democrats. Oh, you stupid, foolish person. You think we're talking about Democrats. How fucking stupid are you? How stupid are you? Why would I lower myself to watch Democrats on this channel? Democrat foolishness is for the peons. Democrat foolishness is for the Daily Wire subscribers. Democrat foolishness is for the Fox News obsessed MAGA cultists who follow Trump around and go to every rally. We don't cover fucking Democrats here. Only losers and retards cover Democrats. Are you serious? We cover radical, revolutionary socialism and the far left in America. And, you know, Trump has gone to war with Venezuela and Trump has captured Nicolas Maduro. And I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Now, obviously and clearly, Trump only did this because Israel told him to. Everyone knows that, right? Trump only did this because Israel told him to. This was not about stopping communism. And quite frankly, even if it was about stopping communism, all it shows is that Trump cares more about stopping communism in other countries than he does in America, because he doesn't do shit about it here, but he'll go kidnap the leader of a foreign power to stop communism. Because Israel wants him to, because Venezuela was funding Hezbollah and all that stuff. Like everyone knows this, right? This has nothing to fucking do with communism. So I have no love loss for Nicolas Maduro. I actually don't really I don't really care. I'm not going to defend Nicolas Maduro at all. But like, can we just hinge into reality and be realistic? Yeah, we attacked a foreign fucking power completely unprovoked. And by the way, we can never say shit about Russia attacking Ukraine again. And you can make MAGA retards. You can make all the excuses you want for Trump. You can make all the excuses you want. Don't ever fucking tell me that Trump is an anti-war president. Don't ever tell me Trump didn't bomb. Don't ever do, like, you interfere in the affairs of a foreign country because Israel wants you to. And you are a warmonger so far as I'm concerned. I am vehemently anti-war on this channel. I don't care what feelings you have about fucking Trump. This had nothing to do with us. And this is not about stopping communism. This is only about Bibi Netanyahu going to Mar-a-Lago on New Year's Eve, bending over Trump and fucking him again. How many times has Bibi Netanyahu come to America in the last year to literally bend Trump over the desk in the Oval Office and fuck him? To get him to fuck all of us? But the real question is, how is the left going to respond to this? What is the left going to say about this? How is the left going to spin this to their audience? That is what we actually care about on this channel, is what the left is saying. Now, if the left is hinged into reality, fine. If they're not, that's fine too. But Breakthrough News is a far left news outlet that covers a lot of this stuff. And if you want a really quick hit on what the leftist perspective is, what the leftist talking points will be, Breakthrough News is a place where we can look for that information. Breakthrough News is intimately linked with the Party for Socialism and Liberation, the People's Forum, the Answer Coalition, all of those little kind of like weird leftist cultish groups. But Breakthrough News does actually have a wide audience, and they do actually do very good coverage for on-the-ground leftist stuff. And if you want to know what the left's talking points are, and Breakthrough News is broadcasting it live, just go there and they will tell you what the left's talking points are. So as a reminder, guys, we do not care if the left is hinged into reality or not. We don't care if they're lying. We care what the left is telling their audience, because the audience, the leftists on the ground, the little leftist activists that are going to make all our lives miserable. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, bye. You want to call me a retard on my own channel, but provide no counter argument? You don't get to be here anymore. Goodbye. Anyway, by the way, if you want the facts, go to my Twitter feed, because I posted it all over there. So for people who think I'm just making shit up, do I literally ever make shit up? No, reality doesn't actually matter when it comes to the left. What matters what matters is what the left believes. Are you fucking stupid? Reality doesn't matter. Reality doesn't matter. What matters is what people believe. People behave based on what they believe is true, not what is true. So in this circumstance, no, Victoria, reality doesn't matter. What the left believes is what matters. What they are telling each other is what matters. Those are the things that are going to dictate their actions. So that's what we care about. And Breakthrough News is going to tell us what they believe. Hey, thanks for the cover charge, MC. I do appreciate it. And Cynthia is already in with 10 gifted channel memberships. Cynthia starting us off strong today. By the way, guys, we will be doing our regular Socialism Saturday stream at 6 p.m. But we're doing this first. Have they gone live yet? We are waiting for Breakthrough News to go live right now. Again, Breakthrough News is a far left news outlet. So if we want to know what the left's talking points are going to be, we can look at Breakthrough News, and Breakthrough News will tell us. We can also, of course, watch their live chat on the screen. So we have that documented as well. No, Kyle, everyone, not just for the left, not just for the left. Your perception is reality as well. This is true for everyone. This is not just true for the left. This is true for left, right, up, down, center, diagonal, wherever the fuck, doesn't matter. Perception is reality for literally everyone. Yeah, and I'm always right. So you want to fucking come on my channel, question me? We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's see what Breakthrough News is saying. By the way, guys, I'm gonna have to go downstairs and get my lunch. Spaghetti squash was in the oven before I started this. So if I disappear, that's where I am. All right.
You are watching Breakthrough News, and this is special live coverage coming to you after the dramatic events that have been taking place in the Western Hemisphere over the past 24 hours. In particular, the United States of America, under the leadership of President Donald Trump, has bombed the country of Venezuela, numerous bombings, and that was followed almost immediately after by a military incursion that led to the kidnapping of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores, who were taken to the USS Iwo Jima, and I believe
kidnapping. They're calling it a kidnapping
to New York, where they have been indicted on multiple counts of alleged allegations around narco trafficking and other related concerns. This, of course, has been widely condemned all around the world by world leaders, average everyday people, civil society, who have noted that the U.S. action is in total contravention to any form of international law, and as many have been raising in the United States, is perhaps outside of his actual powers as president under United States law. So this is being widely denounced as lawless in many different quarters and in many different ways.
Lawless.
And protests have taken place all around the world.
Protests.
In over 70 cities in the United States right now. People are
over
protesting,
70 cities are protesting now.
Of Americans, according to a recent YouGov Economist poll, are opposed to military action in Venezuela and the use of military action to pursue regime change there in the country. In the nation of Cuba, we have seen protests happening in the capital city of Havana. In Venezuela itself, where we will be going to you later in the show, live from the streets, from a reporter who is
they're going live to Venezuela. They have people on the ground.
Demonstrations reported and people coming to the street to defend their president as they deem it. And there's a lot of things happening, very fast moving situation. What comes next is, of course, not clear. President Donald Trump says that the United States will run the country. So the implication being some sort of viceroyalty that would run the country in some sort of occupation. Trump, of course, has made some allegations that the vice president of Venezuela and longtime socialist militant Delcy Rodriguez is cooperating with the United States. But we have actually seen contrary information to that.
Trump's lying?
In just a second.
Wow.
And updated on. So there's not a lot of clarity about the exact immediate follow-on actions, but it does seem clear that the United States.
My lunch is ready. I'll be right back.
In the mindset of continuing to move forward and to try to completely control the politics and the government of Venezuela. And of course, we'll get into all of this more later, but very notably, Trump himself also said that Maria Corina Machado does not have the respect of the country and cannot actually be president. So that's an interesting wrinkle to add to all of this. But Zoe, I want to go to you now because, of course, so much has been raised by the Trump administration and others in their earlier press conferences that they are in some sort of cahoots, as it were, with the other elements of the Bolivarian government in Venezuela. But it seems like that perhaps that is not the case now that we have heard from some officials there on the ground in Caracas.
Yeah, Delcy Rodriguez gave a press conference about 20 minutes ago, or maybe earlier than that. And essentially, it was part of the Council of Defense of the Nation. And she addressed the people of Venezuela, the people of the world, to condemn the U.S. attacks against Venezuela. Once again, she had spoken on Telesur on a phone call at about 5 a.m. to confirm that, in fact, she did not know the whereabouts of Nicolas Maduro. Now she gave a more formal address to the people of the country and condemned the attacks. And, as you said, she contradicted these statements from from Donald Trump, who seemed to imply that she in some way was cooperating with the Trump administration. She, of course, thanked the world community for their solidarity in response to the attack, and importantly, declared and really affirmed that there is one president of Venezuela, and that is Nicolas Maduro. So I think she, right off the bat, did away with those accusations and that attempt by the Trump administration to once again play psychological warfare. And I just want to remind people that since September, one of the main tactics of the Trump administration and its war against Venezuela has been psychological warfare. They were threatening ground invasions. They were threatening air attacks every single day for months. So every single word that they say, we have to know that's in the context of not just bombing campaigns, but also psychological warfare.
No, absolutely. And we've got to introduce ourselves. That was Zoe
Spaghetti
Alexandra,
Squash.
editor of People's Dispatch. I'm Eugene Puryear.
Spaghetti Squash is
here
the best.
Co-host on a weekly basis, Rania Khalek, also of Breakthrough News. Rania, great to be back alongside you.
Yeah, exactly.
Zoe,
hey, thanks, Prince. Appreciate it.
Well, happy 2024, you guys. I started off the year by breaking 2024. Wow, my brain is so fried. I'll tell you why. It's 2026, and I wish it was 2024.
I'm sorry, you're too stupid
really
to be on our channel. Goodbye, banning the retards.
2026 with a horrible banger. Also, I broke my computer, so my screen is like a mess right now, so I can't see you guys as I'd like to. So sorry if I'm a little discombobulated in my talking points here, but what a disaster. However, in disaster, we're here to bring you the reality of it, because there's lots of lies going around. So I want to take a moment to remind people that you are watching Breakthrough News, an independent media outlet where we tell you the truth about war, because we're not funded by Lockheed Martin. And that's why we're going to have a really, really good show today discussing the reality of what the U.S., the insane reality of what the U.S. just did in Venezuela. We're going to be talking to Vijay Prashad, to Manolo de los Santos, to we've got people on the ground in Mexico, in Venezuela. We've got people on the ground in the US. We're going to be talking to Brian
my
Becker.
spaghetti squash is
So we have lots
awesome.
to discuss. I want to remind everybody we're able to do things like this because we're independent, and we stay independent with your support. You can help support us by going to patreon.com/breakthrough news and becoming a patron for as little as $5 a month. I promise I'm almost done with the spiel. You can also throw money at us in the live chat on YouTube, but also make sure that you like this episode, make sure you're subscribed to Breakthrough News, and make sure you engage as much as possible with this content, because it helps boost us in the algorithm that hates us. And with that, I'll throw it back to you guys.
Yes, absolutely. And I appreciate everyone who's watching who is an existing patron, and of course, everyone who continues to support us as we move into uncharted territory. And we're going to be moving and doing a lot of different things. We have great things happening. I just want to note, I may be looking to the side more than normal, because we want to look at everything that's happening in a breaking way and actually tell you the truth and not just be saying things. So, we're moving forward. We've got a great show. We want to move right in here now to our first guest, who we're very, very honored to have here on the show. And that is Dr. Vijay Prashad, the executive director of the Tricontinental Institute. Vijay, as always, thanks so much for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a strange day today.
It is. And I think, Rania, I don't know, I think you wanted to play a clip for Vijay, I believe, to open and ask a question. So I'll kick it to you.
Hello, Vijay, from what you call the other side of imperialism.
The other side of imperialism,
in Lebanon, which has been the subject of a lot of U.S. bombs over the last couple of years. And now I'm watching the U.S. do it to Venezuela. We warned about this. We've talked about this. It's happening. They've kidnapped the president of Venezuela. It's quite insane to witness all this insanity. But Trump got even more insane, Vijay. I'm sure you watched the press conference that he gave addressing the nation over what he and his administration just did. And he made some claims about what he planned to do. I want to play that clip, and then I want to ask you some questions about it.
Trump's going to rebuild Venezuela.
We're going to run the country until such time.
We're going to run the country.
We can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So
we're going to unendingly run Venezuela.
Having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years.
Only retards don't know why this is acceptable. Okay, they're allowed to. It's in the Communist Manifesto. Get smarter, bro. Come on.
Transition. And it has.
So there you have it. We're going to run the country.
We're going to run
Trump
Venezuela.
Has yet to give any clarity about what that means. The press did a terrible job of asking for clarity about that after him and his administration officials spoke. I mean, I'm just sitting here, Vijay, watching that. You've covered so many U.S. wars, including the occupation of Iraq. If you want to run the Venezuelan government, run a country of 30 million people, you're going to have to put tens of thousands, if not like 100,000 U.S. soldiers on the ground and occupy it, because Venezuela is full of millions of people who are pro-revolution, who are Chavistas, and who certainly won't roll over and just allow Trump or America to run their country or, give them their oil for free. So I'm just curious your thoughts on the idea of the U.S. running the Venezuelan government, as Trump said, and staying. He used the word staying until a safe transition has been reached.
Good question.
Well, the most important part of that statement is the acknowledgement that the preferred heir, Maria Corina Machado, who was given the Nobel Peace Prize last year, is not ready to take over. I mean, that is a real slap against the Venezuelan opposition. And one of the interesting bits of timing is the Venezuelan National Assembly is to reconvene on the 5th of January. The election was held in May last year. That assembly sits from 2026 to 2031. And the opposition in the assembly is led by veteran opposition politician Henry Capriles. I think there's an understanding that when that opposition comes into the assembly, Capriles dislikes Maria Corina Machado. The opposition once again is going to fray. The United States not prepared to risk its fortunes on a fractious opposition. So Mr. Trump is saying something that he said, in fact, in criticism of George W. Bush at the time when the United States overthrew the government of Saddam Hussein. What he said was why didn't the United States just go in and take the oil? Why didn't the United States go in and run the country directly and just pay for the occupation with the oil money? I mean, that was his criticism of George W. Bush. People misunderstand that, saying Mr. Trump was against wars. No American president has been against a war. The legal justification, and I use the word legal really very, very ironically, not in a way that's alongside international law, but the U.S. legal justification for all this was set by Barack Obama in 2015 when he signed an executive order on Venezuela. So Mr. Trump is basically just saying, I'd do Venezuela, which Barack Obama has basically said is legal for the United States to come in and do what it wants. I'd do it better than George W. Bush did it in Iraq. Now, you asked a very important question. Does the United States have the internal ability to actually send enough people to go and then colonize Venezuela? I think that's the history has shown us. United States very good at bombing countries. Indeed, very good even at going in and snatching a leader. It's not the first time in Latin America. They did that already with Manuel Noriega in 1989 in Panama. The United States is very good at destroying countries, very bad at governing them. It showed that in Afghanistan, showed that in Iraq.
Real, actually.
The United States didn't even try in Syria, handed it over to Al-Qaeda, didn't even try in Libya. I doubt very much they'll try in Venezuela. I think these are empty words from Mr. Trump. But I have to be very cautious about saying that, because a lot of things Trump says sound like empty words, and then he goes ahead and does it anyway. So they may try to govern Venezuela, but it'll end up a worse fiasco for them than Iraq.
Vijay, I think you bring up a lot of really important points. And one element is that, yeah, of course, this has happened before in terms of the US going in and snatching presidents, but actually doing direct military strikes on South America is unprecedented. And even in the military buildup that we saw since August, the strikes on boats in the Caribbean, it still seems like they won't actually do something against, a land strike against Venezuela, but they have. And it is an unprecedented moment. Why Venezuela and why now? And for you, what is next? Does this open the door to more attacks like this?
Well, I mean, if you read Trump's national security strategy, it's really laid out very...
Okay. Apparently, we need to have a little bit of a lesson for all the new people here who do not come and watch the far left with me on a regular basis. Hi, guys. We cover the far left on this channel. If you believe the far left gives a flying fuck about America, you don't know anything about the far left. The far left wants to overthrow the United States government. They do not vote in elections. They do not vote for Democrats. We are not watching Democrats. We are not watching liberals. We are not watching progressives. These are radical revolutionary socialists who want to overthrow the government. They don't give a flying fuck about maintaining the Constitution or any of it. So no, they don't give a shit about America. That is exactly the point. Those are who we cover on this channel. Welcome. If you don't understand that the far left is different than the Democrats, you listen to people who lie to you. If you don't understand that liberals and progressives are not the same as socialists and communists, you listen to people who lie to you. If you want the truth, come here and I will show you. In the left's own words.
I
Thank
was,
you, Cynthia.
for whatever reason, awake at 3 o'clock in the
Thank
morning,
you,
Santiago
Cynthia. We
time,
love you.
and I was
Thank
texting
you.
with people in Caracas. In fact, somebody
You
live
don't make
streamed
my
the bombing
channel.
with
You
me.
you don't.
It was
No,
a
no, no.
very
You don't.
surreal
You don't. If
moment,
you don't
I would
understand,
say.
they want to
I
overthrow the
felt
government.
very
You
awkward
don't.
about seeing that in that way. But at any rate, when I was watching that, the first thing that crossed my mind was my sense that when the United States announced that they had moved their E8 growlers, E18G growlers, to Puerto Rico. These are electronic jamming aircrafts. When they had moved these aircrafts to Puerto Rico, I read that report in one of the Stars and Stripes magazines, and I thought, well, that's interesting, but I wonder what's going on. Well, look, they have the most sophisticated electronic jamming systems, the ALQ-249. That's the most publicly available one. It's very likely that the United States, whose military power is frequently underestimated, have the capacity to just paralyze all kinds of air defense systems. I always found Seymour Hersh's article about the capture of Osama bin Laden in 2011 to be a little off. I don't really think that the Pakistani military allowed themselves to be so badly humiliated. I think the United States had jamming systems in place. They sent in those 2 Black Hawk helicopters, grabbed bin Laden and came out. Very similar operation here, by the way, except they did it with a lot more noise, a lot more distracting bombardments in different parts of the country. They knew exactly where Mr. Maduro was. They know exactly where everybody is. For God's sake, people, wake up. The Israelis knew where all mid-level Hezbollah people were, and they blew up their pagers. I mean, their electronic systems should never be underestimated. Imperialism has incredible power to destroy. Beyond that, what they will do, one doesn't know.
Master
This
Sheikh.
is part of their
point.
ability to exercise the Monroe Doctrine. They want to destabilize Venezuela. They would like this government to be weakened now. They would like to see some sort of transition. They would like to see this have a knock-on effect, which is that the governments of Nicaragua and Cuba sort of self-immolate without Venezuela in the picture. That's what they'd like to see. Already, there are right-wing governments all across South America, right-wing governments creeping up Central America, including in Honduras, by hook or by crook in Honduras, and in the Caribbean. The very fact that the government of Trinidad and Tobago, with a semi-center-right prime minister, then turns out in this last phase to be a complete imperialist, is an extraordinary moment. We are seeing the death of the pink tide, and in this case being killed off, and the birth of the angry tide. Imagine what you must feel like to be Jose Antonio Cast in Chile, waiting to be inaugurated, watching the United States do this in Venezuela. You feel like now in Chile, you can do anything. Nayib Bukele in El Salvador is watching this on television, saying, now I can do anything. And there's elections this year in both Brazil and in Colombia. And I tell you something, people should not be too comfortable about the fact that Gustavo Petro is the president of Colombia. He cannot run again. You can't by Colombian law. But the next president of Colombia might well be Vicky Davila. And God help the Colombian people. In Brazil, people are feeling like, oh, there's no way that Lula can lose.
They're not going to go into
I don't think you should be.
The Mexican president is exactly who Israel wants to be the Mexican president. The Mexican president is a Jewish Zionist. Like, I appreciate the money. I really do. There is no universe in which this is sending a message to Mexico that Mexico can do whatever the fuck they want. They've got a Jewish Zionist woman president.
Maduro in this brutal, illegal way is just one small way to move a piece on a chessboard. And Mr. Trump, exercising the Monroe Doctrine through the Trump corollary, is pushing U.S. power in a way we haven't seen, at least not in my lifetime.
No, I think those are extraordinarily important points, Vijay. And I think to talk about the geopolitical nature of it, not simply just an issue over resources, but the use and distribution of resources to help people, and how the U.S. does not want that in any context. And, maybe we can, they're dressing the whole thing up with the drugs thing, but I would say over the past couple months, they've been pretty open themselves. I want to try to bring up a tweet from Stephen Miller that I think is important. And he says, American sweat, ingenuity, and toil created the oil industry in Venezuela. Its tyrannical expropriation was the largest recorded theft of American wealth and property, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to give him too much airtime. But the reason I wanted to bring this up
I haven't watched
specifically,
the whole thing.
VJ,
Maybe we'll watch
is because
it. Thank you for
this is the exact same argument that the British made about Mosaic Day in Iran, that we built the oil industry in Iran, and thus it belongs to us, and they have no right to nationalize it. And I guess I just want your thoughts on that, what to me seems amazing, confluence here of colonialist logic.
Well, firstly, it's very important to say that Hugo Chavez's first government did not nationalize the oil. It's important to say he wins a presidential election in 1998 with a mandate to improve the people's condition of life. They pass a new constitution in 1999, mandating improve the people's life. And then there's a democratic constitution, democratic law passed in 2001, the hydrocarbons law, which says that Venezuela should have more say over the surplus based on the oil extracted. Chevron understands that they're playing ball and decides to negotiate with the Venezuelan government. ExxonMobil goes nuts about this, and Canadian mining companies, Barrick Gold, led by Peter Monk. Peter Monk writes in the Canadian press saying Hugo Chavez should be overthrown. There's a coup attempt against Chavez in 2002, right after the hydrocarbons law. It's not you don't need Stephen Miller around to say these things. Stephen Miller is a moron. This has been a long-standing part of US policy that this oil is US oil. Why should ExxonMobil's oil have been taken? And remember, Trump's first Secretary of State was Rex Tillerson, former CEO of ExxonMobil. And it was actually Rex Tillerson who engineers ExxonMobil's confrontation between Guyana and Venezuela over the Essequibo region. They've been angry about this for a very long time. They want that oil back. And it's important to tell people who are going to go and say silly things on social media, the United States doesn't need oil. It's an oil exporter. The United States wants to control the oil. The United States wants to control the oil. It's a supremely important resource. And also, they don't want the Bolivarian revolution to be using the oil to improve the conditions of life for people in the Caribbean through PetroCarib, which for a brief period of time helped the people of Haiti. They don't want the proceeds of the oil to be used to help left-wing movements across Latin America, indeed around the world. Don't forget that it was Hugo Chavez who in 2003 said, we don't want no US imperialism, the first time after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Hugo Chavez joining Fidel Castro in a global campaign against imperialism. Meanwhile, it was in fact about 6-7 years later for us to listen to the Russians and the Chinese say we don't want a single master in the world. Chavez was saying this 2003, goes to the United Nations and says, I can smell sulfur here after George W. Bush has spoken. Now, it's important to remember that what Stephen Miller tweets, this is our oil, we want it back, has been the basis of US policy from the 2001 hydrocarbon law to the present. Extraordinarily consistent policy that has gone from the administrations of George W. Bush, Barack Obama, blah, blah, blah.
Do you want to, Zoe, before we let Vijay go, do you want to top that off with anything?
Vijay says it all. And I think I really encourage everyone to read his report that he wrote with Taroa Zuniga. Also, Vijay, your reports on the angry tide. I think we really have to situate ourselves in exactly what you're saying and the fact that the region is changing rapidly.
Please stop making shit up. They're not worried about that at all. That is not what they are saying.
I just want to make a quick plug for Hyper-Imperialism, the study done by Tricontinental that I think gives critical background. So go to the Tricontinental Institute for Social Research and check out all that.
Did I forget something? No.
Well, it's so great to be with you guys again. What a day. Nicolas Maduro is my friend. I feel terribly for him. When he was told by Hugo Chavez, Nicolas, you have to take over after I'm dead, Nicolas Maduro started crying and saying, nobody can take over from you. Please don't put this mantle on me. It's an extremely humble man. He enters politics as a union leader of the bus drivers. He himself was a bus driver. Then he goes off and becomes a politician because Chavez found him in the union movement, becomes a foreign minister. He is a reluctant politician, and I feel terribly for him as a person. There is nothing in his character that suggests this kind of treatment of him. And I really want to say that, guys, because I know that lots of people on the left will turn their back on Nicolas Maduro Moro and Celia Flores, and I refuse to do so.
Yes, no, absolutely. And we appreciate everything you bring to the table, VJ, and everything that you all are doing at Tricon to help give us the appropriate context and also the immediate analysis, as it were.
You know what the most insufferable part of this whole thing is going to be? It's going to be conservatives pretending that Trump did something to fight communism. That's what the most insufferable part of all this is going to be, is all the conservatives going, we got those commie bastards, or something like that, because it's like, you fucking retards. Do you understand that's all going on in America right now and Trump hasn't done shit? But he'll go do it in Venezuela, but not here. And you somehow think that's winning to defeat communism in another fucking country? Like, literally shut the fuck up.
We talked about Panama.
None of you actually care about defeating communism.
One of the important factors
is none of you give a fuck about it here. You just care about it when your fucking hero Trump goes into another country.
Later. So I think it's very important that even though people are saying, they were strictly against military targets, blah, blah, blah.
Andrew Wilson said exactly that. Yeah, imagine my shock. Yeah, right.
Striking of a medical supply warehouse in Venezuela.
I think it's about establishing a larger oil reserve.
Well, we're really excited to be joined by a longtime friend of the show who comes on a lot, Jose Luis Granados Ceja. He is a journalist and the co-host of Soberanía, the Mexican politics podcast. Jose Luis, you not only follow Mexico,
Trump
but you
literally
follow
had a communist
there
over to the
Very
White House.
excited that you're joining us today.
Defeating communism.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Obviously, it's very important that we're talking about this and spending our time on it.
Yeah, and we wanted to actually play you a clip of Donald Trump talking on his favorite
take all their
show,
fucking oil. I don't care,
Friends,
honestly.
About his plans for Mexico and how he sees Mexico. And you've talked about this a lot, so we're excited to get your opinion on this.
I wonder, Mr. President, I want to ask you because from your vice president, J.D. Vance, said that the message is pretty clear: the drug trafficking must stop. So was this operation a message that you're sending to Mexico, to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president there?
No.
Well, it wasn't meant to be, and we're very friendly.
It wasn't meant to be.
Woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico. And we could be politically correct and be nice and say, oh, yes, she is. No, she's very, she's very frightened of the cartels. They're running Mexico. And I've asked her numerous times, would you like us to take out the cartels? No, Mr. President. No, please. So we have to do something because we lost. The real number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. They like to say 100,000. 100,000 is a lot of people, but the real number is 300,000 people. And we lost it to drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada, too, by the way, in case you don't know. But they come in through the southern border, and something's going to have to be done with Mexico.
So something is going to have to be done with Mexico. I mean, there's a lot to unpack in that clip, almost too much, some subtle racism, misogyny, perhaps not so subtle. You've been alerting to this, I think, since day one of the Trump administration, of the possibility of the U.S. wanting to carry out airstrikes on Mexican national territory in its alleged war against drug cartels.
Hang on.
Can you talk about this clip? What does it mean? Does this operation against...
Look, guys, there's live protest right
will
now.
Be done under the auspices of drug trafficking. But we know it has nothing to do with that.
Status Quo News.
And everything to do with Trump's policy of regime change. If Trump and his cronies cared about drug trafficking, Marco Rubio would not be in their cabinet. Additionally, Trump would not have pardoned former Honduran president and infamous drug trafficker Juan Orlando Hernandez. Boo! Drug trafficking in Venezuela.
Look how quickly they were able to get this up and running. Look how quickly the left was able to get this up and running.
We have seen this before. Iraq never held any weapons of mass destruction. The war in Iraq cost the death of 4,500 soldiers, with 32,000 soldiers wounded in action.
That's a good one.
The cost of regime change in Venezuela is the cost of the lives of your children. Nearly 70% of Americans oppose another war and reject the endless cycle of military interventions carried out in their name. These attacks are violations of the United Nations Charter, Articles 1 and 2, which enshrine respect for sovereignty, the legal equality of states, and the prohibition of the use of force. Such aggression threatened the lives of millions of people in the Caribbean and Latin America. This is all for oil and minerals. We must organize against the occupation of Venezuela. As the Venezuelan government has told its people, to the streets, people. The goal of these attacks is to seize Venezuela's resources, such as their people, the oil, and their minerals. The people of Venezuela have had 200 years of independence and struggle. This colonial war by the United States will fail. The Venezuelan people will rise to defend themselves, as is their right under international law.
Yeah, here comes Queer through Venezuela. Yeah, exactly.
The Venezuelan government has activated its mobilization plans via the people of Venezuela and the Bolivarian National Armed Forces and Popular Military Police Fusion. We wish them great success. We call upon the peoples and governments of Latin America, the Caribbean, and the world to mobilize in active solidarity against this imperial aggression. And I'm quoting here the Venezuelan government, as Supreme Commander Hugo Chavez Frias stated, in the face of any circumstance of new difficulties, however great they may be, the response of all patriots is struggle, battle, and victory. Do not lose hope. I bring you a quote from Soy Cuba. And this is in English and I'll
Look how much of my spaghetti squash I
But when
still
one
left.
man falls for a just
spaghetti
cause,
squash is
thousands
such a
rise
legit
up.
meal.
And when there
It's
are
like
no
3
men
meals
left,
in one.
even the stones will rise up. And in Spanish, pero al caer un hombre por una causa justa, surgen por miles otros. Y cuando ya no queden hombres, hasta las piedras se alzarán. And one more thing to recall. Let us not forget that this invasion of Venezuelan soil is exactly what Maria Corina Machado wanted. She wants to sell Venezuela to the highest bidder, the United States. Thank you.
Give it up for Arroyo, everybody. Arroyo pointed out something I think is really important about Venezuelans mobilizing to defend their country. It's something that I think it's
Future home of the Minneapolis Democracy Center. What's
in the media,
that?
you've seen reported over and over that the reason the U.S. wants to go to war is that President Nicolas Maduro is some sort of dictator hated by his people. Do dictators hand out arms to their people? Do dictators say, get ready to defend your country? No, dictators who are afraid of their own people, who are hated by their own people, they keep that to the army. They're terrified. They don't want their people to arm themselves and be ready to defend themselves. The whole country is mobilizing, like Arroyo just said, to defend themselves because they're proud of their country. So next up, I want to introduce a speaker from Minnesota 5051, Cobalt. 5051, I'm sure everyone here is familiar with, an incredible organization that's mobilized tens of thousands of people all around the country to oppose the Trump administration.
5051, that's indivisible.
Trump's
so pay attention to this. This is indivisible. This is the actual. This is what you're going to see is like progressive.
Response.
5051 is progressive.
And wants everyone to know that they're always looking for volunteers to help out. Give it up for Cobalt.
That's the No Kings protest.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be reading because otherwise I'll go off script and say something that y'all will identify with, but it will get everybody demonetized.
Drink water, something hard.
I'm not happy for the occasion. I am happy to see so many of you here. My name is Cobalt, and I am with Minnesota 5051. In the dead of night, the United States bombed a sovereign nation and abducted its head of state. Trump has since declared that he will be running Venezuela and attempting to access their oil reserves. This is wrong, morally, strategically, and historically. The U.S. has tried such nation building before, and the results are always the same. Enormous profit for corporations and the wealthy, death, chaos, and long-term destabilization for the people who live there and the people who are deployed there. These imperialist actions in Venezuela are abhorrent on their own, but they are also a distraction. While bombs fall abroad, a war is being waged right here at home. As you know, federal agents have been kidnapping people and disappearing them from the streets.
They're comparing it to anti-ICE, kidnapping presidents, kidnapping people.
Have been released detailing the president's ties to one of the most notorious predators in modern history. Reports indicate that Trump added $3.4 billion to his wealth in 2025 alone. Will this escalation abroad work to pull your attention away from the corruption, violence, and authoritarianism unfolding right here? No. Consider the cost of this in time, labor, money, and human lives. And now imagine what could be done if even a fraction of those resources were invested in the people here at home. Trump campaigned on America first, yet millions of people in this country are starving, unhoused, drowning in debt, and being brutalized by their own government.
Yeah, actually true. Actually true.
We are told that there is no money to care for people, but somehow there is always money for war and for oil interests. Does that contradiction make you angry? We should be furious. But more than that, we should be activated. These problems are not unsolvable. They persist because
it's actually better than
lack the will to solve them. Instead,
that
they
is
continue to prioritize imperial expansion and corporate profit over human
within
life.
hours.
This
like
is
literally
a
go
wake-up
fuck
call
yourself.
to anyone
You
who
try
has
to
not
get 40
bothered to
people
pay
out in the
attention.
cold on a
We
Saturday
must
morning
demand that
in
our
less than
government
12 hours
stop
notice,
terrorizing
and you
its own
see how that
people.
goes.
Stay out of the affairs of foreign nations. We must call for the impeachment.
There are 1,200 people watching this right now on their channel.
Until then, please get involved in your local organizations, find your rapid response communities, defend your neighbors, and pay attention. In closing, fuck ICE, fuck imperialism, and fuck Donald Trump.
Give it up for Cobalt, everybody. So, one announcement I want to make before we continue with the program. We're just a couple speakers left, and we're gonna and then we're gonna do a short march around the neighborhood. So please stick around. We want to take the streets. We want people to know that we're standing up here in Minneapolis, and we want the folks in this neighborhood to see us and see that there are people standing up for Venezuela, and if they stand for Venezuela too, that they are not alone, right? So next up, we have a special who's a speaker who's very special to me, my friend and comrade Drake, who is an amazing organizer.
Saying that from the very beginning, they were never not
union
saying
organizer
that.
with MFE. He's an ESP, and he used to be in the anti-war committee with me. And we went on a trip to Venezuela together in 2023.
Only literal, only literal retards think we're watching liberals right now. We are not stupid on this channel. We are not watching liberals. We are watching the left. We are watching the real left.
In MFE 59.
This is Freedom. FRSO stands for Freedom Road Socialist Organization. That's not a liberal.
They aren't well funded. They've got money to bomb graves,
Freedom
to steal
Road
oil tankers, to bomb
Socialist
fishermen and
Organization.
civilians in Venezuela, but no money for our schools. I got to see that there's a different value system in Venezuela. Hugo Chavez, as a revolutionary president. Can we hear it for Hugo Chavez? As a revolutionary president, used oil revenue to open hundreds of public schools and free open admission universities. Chavez made sure that millions of kids who never had access to education would. He did so by sometimes using the Venezuelan army to seize the property of U.S. companies. He seized the oil and used that money for the Venezuelan oil, nationalized the oil to pay for social services.
If you believe the left is completely interchangeable, you are not smart enough to be on my channel. Get the fuck out and go back to Fox News. We are not retards here. They're all the same to me because I don't understand what I'm talking about. Get the fuck out.
Viva Chavez!
You want to know why I think the right doesn't take the threat of the left seriously? They say stupid shit like this.
To the wealthiest of Wall Street, while Maduro and Venezuela want the Venezuelan poor provided for in their own sovereign country.
Is that a tranny? Does he know what a woman
Stealing
is?
from the rich
Why
to
are
give
they
to the
using
poor.
capitalism
And
if
not
they
just the
wanna
poor of
overthrow
Venezuela.
capitalism?
Chavez even helped the poor of the United States. Chavez provided 100 million gallons of free heating oil a year to more than 200 tribes and Alaska natives, to homeless shelters, and to low-income families in the United States. When U.S. oil companies did nothing, Venezuela gave over $1 billion of free oil to the poorest and most marginalized in the United States, as well as Venezuela. Trump said Venezuela sends drugs to our country, when what they actually send was vitally needed aid. As recently as a couple weeks ago, President Maduro thanked Freedom Road Socialist Organization for our solidarity and said that Venezuela stands with us here in the United States. It was true when MPD killed George Floyd. Venezuelans marched for justice, and there were many George Floyd murals painted around Venezuela when we went. It was true when the U.S. bombs advanced to genocide on Gaza. Venezuelans stood with us against that genocide. And we need to extend our solidarity back at them right now. I want to believe that now that the United States is bombing Venezuela, threatening an invasion and a second wave of attacks, talking about we will run the country, that each and every one of us will remember the lessons we learned in our lifetimes, the anti-war lessons of our lives. I'm 33 and I grew up during the War on Terror. I thought everyone was clear. We don't want any more endless wars for oil.
Yeah, I thought we were clear on that.
I want to believe that everyone at these giant No Kings protests will stand up and say, no war with Venezuela. But we're going to have to explain this situation to people patiently. We're going to have to work hard and be in the streets alongside the proud Venezuelan people to stop this. It's a sad day when people are being bombed. But the people of Venezuela are not giving up, and we can't either. I want to say cheerfully that these are the most desperate and obviously evil actions of an empire in decline.
Yeah, exactly.
We will live to see the death of U.S. imperialism in our lifetimes.
Hey,
I had the honor to sit with the...
When people give a speech, they oftentimes prepare. It's only conservative retards who don't prepare when they give a speech. Having notes when you're giving a speech is actually a good and positive thing, and it's actually the professional thing to do. So, nice try to own the libs, but you just made yourself look dumb and unprofessional, honestly.
Hospital right now because of ICE. 5-year-olds need patience and help to learn and play. They don't need to starve under ICE, under blockades and sanctions. They don't need their schools bombed or stalked by racist freaks. No more 5-year-olds should suffer. Not here in Minneapolis, not in Iraq, not in Venezuela, not in Gaza or the West Bank. Nowhere. Down with Trump. Down with the Monroe Doctrine. Free President Maduro. Thank you so much for the time. Let's give it up for Drake.
Yeah, probably true. Man, I appreciate the super chat. Thank you.
Today's protest has been organized by the Minnesota Peace Action Coalition
And if you do not already follow our work on Facebook or
Minnesota
on Instagram,
Peace Action
please
Coalition.
follow
I think
the
that's
coalition.
part of the Answer Coalition.
I've been around for many
I'm pretty
decades,
sure that's part of the Answer
protesting
Coalition.
a series of U.S.
wrong,
wars, sanctions, and interventions abroad. One thing I want to say before I introduce our next speaker is polls show that war on Venezuela, 70% of the United States is opposed to war on Venezuela. I want to say that again. 70% of the United States is opposed to war on Venezuela. So our task is to make that manifest in the streets, to make that manifest in the political landscape of the United States, and make peace with Venezuela.
No Trump.
And end
no
U.S.
KKK, no fascist
interventionism
USA.
first and foremost a priority of our politics domestically.
Yep.
Repeat after me. We want justice, you say how? Hands off Venezuela now.
Hands up Venezuela now.
We want justice, you say how? Hands off Venezuela now. Our next speaker is Nadia. They're with the USPCN, the United States Palestinian Community Network. It's an Arab-led nationwide organization who's been on the forefront of the struggle for Palestinian liberation. Please give a warm welcome to Nadia.
Empires are built on stolen labor and land theft and exploitation and murders and genocide and lies. Empires lie to themselves and they lie to the people living in the imperial core. With their words, empires lie to the world, but with their actions, they show the truth. Today, Trump got on camera and announced that he kidnapped President Maduro to make Venezuelans, quote, rich, independent, and safe. The absurdity of this lie is clear. Since when does bombing another country and kidnapping their democratically elected president make a country independent or safe? When Colin Powell got up in front of the UN and lied about weapons of mass destruction, he did it so that the US empire could deepen its hold on West Asia. When Israel spews lies about Hamas hiding in hospitals or beheading babies, they do so to justify the genocide of the Palestinian people. In fact, the US empire and its proxies tell on themselves when they lie. The US has over 5,000 nuclear weapons, weapons of mass destruction. Israel has military bases built in highly populated areas with targets right next to hospitals. According to recent estimation, Israel has killed over 300,000 children. I have seen countless pictures and videos of babies with their heads blown off and mouthpieces for genocide still have the audacity to bring up these debunked claims from Zionists 2 years later. So yes, we know that empires always lie. When Pete Hegseth tells us that they have bombed ships carrying narco-terrorists, he is lying. When Trump tells us that they have kidnapped President Maduro because he leads a drug cartel, he is lying. And once again, the empire tells on itself. The U.S. government is responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people and those who continue to die from opioid overdoses. The U.S. is responsible for the staggeringly high production of opioids in Afghanistan during their occupation. The U.S. allied itself with Nicaraguan Contras to overthrow the Sandinista government, using the profits from Iranian arms sales and cocaine trafficking to fund this reactionary group. This directly resulted in the crack epidemic in Black communities. Imperialist plunder in Iran paid for imperialist plunder in Nicaragua, which paid for attacks on Black communities in the belly of the beast. The U.S. government is by far the world's largest cartel of, to use their words, narco-terrorists. And I want to talk about that word narco-terrorist because to me, what it shows is how connected our struggles are. When the U.S. empire invokes the image of the scary terrorist to justify its murder of Venezuelan people, it is yet more proof that nobody is free until we are all free.
No one is free until we're all free. That means abolish capitalism.
In the eyes of the U.S., both the government and, let's be honest, many of its citizens, Terrorist is a word that is used to describe somebody that they can kill with no repercussions. The United States and Israel are the true terrorists. They travel the world creating nothing but fear, death, and destruction. They steal and they kill out of bloodthirsty greed. And again, the U.S. lies. They don't give a shit about democracy in Venezuela. They just want to be the ones in control of a sovereign nation and its resources.
Actually, true.
They don't care about drug trafficking. They just want a reason to exploit Venezuela and kill Venezuelans. Earlier this week, Benjamin Netanyahu visited the U.S. for the 5th time in 2025. Netanyahu is a wanted war criminal, and he was welcomed into the United States. This, in and of itself, is proof that President Maduro was not kidnapped because
in front of the White House.
Cares about
it said that stream
law
ended,
and human
so it was
rights.
like a replay.
Since 1948, Palestine has been proof of the farce that is international law.
That's the Answer Coalition in front of the White House. That's
to put an
Breakthrough
end to
News and the
genocide and
PSL.
imperialism. Trump's claim that Venezuela stole land from the U.S. is just as obscene as claims that Palestinians stole land from Israel or that indigenous peoples on this land could steal land from the so-called United States.
See? It's the same issue.
Israel have no right to be in Palestine. They have no right to be in Venezuela. They have no right to be anywhere, and they have no right to exist. They are imperial entities built on the bodies and lands of indigenous people.
Did she just say Israel has no right to exist?
Stolen resources. We must not believe a word that comes out of their propaganda outlets, and we must fight until from Venezuela to Palestine, we are all free.
Free of capitalism? That means overthrow capitalism.
And death to imperialism, wherever it may be.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Okay, we've got one last speaker to go before we get marching. And this speaker has something very
they're gonna do a whole
unique
march.
and special to offer us because she just got back from Venezuela. My friend Allison here from the Anti-War Committee defied the no-fly zone. And for those who don't know, a no-fly zone is essentially a threat from the U.S. that if you fly over this country will blow you out of the sky. Allison fucking went there anyway. That is heroic. And she went there to see what they're actually facing so she could come back and tell people here in the U.S. what's actually going on there. Give it up for Allison from the Anti-War Committee.
Thank you, Andrew. As Andrew just said, my name is Allison Gunderson. I am with the Minnesota Anti-War Committee and the WAM Palestine Solidarity Committee. And I only just got back from a U.S. delegation to Caracas,
wearing a
Venezuela
mask
a few weeks ago. The Trump administration has escalated war crimes in Venezuela overnight. Bombing Caracas and kidnapping President Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores? Shame. It's insanity. President Maduro is a democratically elected leader, and Venezuela chose their government. The U.S. should not be allowed to kidnap leaders just because they don't like them. Isn't that right?
That is actually
the U.S.
right.
does not have a right to bomb Venezuela indiscriminately for defending their sovereignty.
Yeah.
And we know why the U.S. doesn't like these leaders, right? It's not about these false claims of drugs or the other lies Trump is spewing. It's because Venezuela is a country that has the largest oil reserves in the world. And they won't let U.S. imperialism exploit that. Venezuela is an example of a country that takes care of its people in defiance of U.S. sanctions, blockades, and bombings. They are an example to the world that this reality is possible. A country taking care of its people rather than pouring billions into efforts of war that only benefit oligarchs like Trump, his cronies, and U.S. oil companies. All while the people in the U.S. can't have their needs met. This is a direct threat to the U.S. When I was in Caracas, all I witnessed was a country that had love and solidarity, not only for their own country, but with all people's struggles against U.S. imperialism. They have international solidarity built into their fabric. I got to see President Maduro speak, and he stressed unity and solidarity and how imperative this is that solidarity goes both ways. I also witnessed the people's support and pride that they had in President Maduro. Venezuela has an incredibly strong understanding of U.S. imperialism and how it directly affects their conditions and the conditions of the world, from Palestine to the people of the U.S. They understand the conditions we face in the belly of the beast. People who are being bombed, sanctioned, and under blockade by the U.S. came up to me to express how they feel awful seeing our conditions and how we suffer under U.S. imperialism.
Because Israel says so. That's why. That's the only
That
reason
they may
why.
have some bad
Israel,
conditions,
per usual.
but they have a country that takes care of them, and they see how we don't have that, and they stand with us against that. They have incredible solidarity with us, and it's long past time that we have this strong of solidarity with Venezuela in return. This is why it is imperative we build a strong anti-imperialist, anti-war movement here in the U.S. That we fight against U.S. intervention into other countries for the selfish motives of U.S. oil companies. Because we know U.S. intervention only brings destabilization and destruction, and that this imperial violence will always come home to roost. We must fight for Venezuelan sovereignty and right to self-determination. We must continue to fight against U.S. imperialism everywhere. No war with Venezuela. Free President Maduro. Viva Venezuela. Thank you.
Give it up for Allison. Okay, is everybody ready to march? Fantastic. So I have a couple instructions for everybody so we can get going on our way and march safely. All right.
Okay, so we just heard from multiple speakers. They're going to get ready to march now.
We're on the corners over here.
There's some folks across the street holding signs about Epstein files.
Let's see how this goes.
Is this the ultimate wagging the dog tail here, where the Epstein files are so bad that Trump had to create some sort of diversion other than what was already going on? That's being floated across the street.
Left thinks this is all to divert from the Epstein files.
I'm going to try to interview some of those folks.
Well done,
Again,
Trump.
if you're not a Status Coup member, please consider joining.
Go interview people.
For $5 a month, you can help fund our reporting. That
You guys can join my channel.
gives us the leeway to do these trips to Minneapolis.
Hey, if you guys want to fund reporting covering the radical revolutionary far left in America, showing you what is actually going on beyond any conservative bullshit talking points that might exist, please consider supporting my channel. You can send in a super chat. You can become a channel member. You can head over to my Substack, which is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. Link in the description below. You can sign up over there for $8 a month, $80 a year. I am a 100% independently funded journalist. I do not work for any political organization. I have no political masters. My only job is to show up and to literally just show you what's going on and to break down the language so you understand what's going on. Yes, this is in Minnesota. And if you guys want to fund the work I'm doing and keep me in business, because I can't do this if you guys don't fund it, please sign up for the channel, become a member, send a super chat, subscribe to the Substack, buy some merch, whatever you want to do. About Face, by the way, is a veterans organization. About Face is a socialist veterans organization. I just saw a sign for them. Okay, they're going to be marching. We're going to be looking at what the signs say. Obviously, we're going to be listening to what their chants are and stuff like that. We're going to be trying to identify the different types of organizations involved, because there are multiple organizations involved in this protest. This is in Minneapolis. I don't know if this is representative of what's going on elsewhere. We're kind of like going where the coverage is right now. There was also a protest out in front of the White House earlier, led by the Answer Coalition. This one is led by Freedom Road Socialist Organization. I'm pretty sure that's what FRSO, that big flag right there, that's what that means. They've got Venezuelan flags all ready to go. And I just want people to keep in mind, the left pulled this together within the last 12 hours. Okay? The right can't do this. The left does this.
So I love the signs out here that says "Welcome to 1939. Which side are you on?" In sort of reiterating the point.
And listen, guys. I'm gonna be real blunt. I'm sure there are some Venezuelans celebrating right now. There are also an awful lot of fucking communists in Venezuela. If you idiots think it's gonna be easy for Trump to go in and run Venezuela, are you fucking stupid? It's a communist country that's filled with fucking communists. Not everyone is out there celebrating. The idea that every Venezuelan is happy about this is absurd. It's a communist fucking country for a reason, and no, it wasn't all just fake. There are going to be a lot of people in Venezuela who are going to be fighting every single thing Trump tries to do there, and Trump seems to think he can go in and just run the country using our fucking tax money.
Navy ships around! Turn those Navy ships around! Hands off Venezuela now! Hands off Venezuela now! Turn those Navy ships around! Turn those Navy ships around! Hands off Venezuela now! Hands off Venezuela now! Turn those Navy ships around! U.S. hands off foreign soil! No more trading blood for oil!
No more trading blood for oil. Good chance. Then you've never met a real communist, you fucking faggot. Literally shut the fuck up with this. You've never met an actual communist then. God, I have no patience for retards today. Absolutely no patience for the retards of the conservative right.
No more trading blood for oil! U.S. pirates go home! Venezuela's now yours to own!
So I wanted to ask you about your song. It's about the Epstein files.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that Trump doing what he did last night is sort of him trying to divert with what's going on with that, what's in the files and his connections to it?
Absolutely, at least this time, at this point in time. However, it's bigger than even that, but I absolutely think it's a diversion right now.
Did you see some of those files where they were talking about maybe he had some girls coming through the Mar-a-Lago spa?
Well, I read parts of them.
What? I mean, if that's true,
I really do think there's whatever we're going to find. I was sort of skeptical about what we would see earlier, but it's obviously something huge. Yeah. Gigantic. I don't know what it is. I don't claim to know any of that, but it's big.
I agree. I mean, you had all those pages that were redacted entirely. They didn't release all of the files. 6 months ago, I didn't think there was any smoke there, but it seems to me that there is a lot of smoke there now.
I've known there were bad things, but I think I can't fathom. It's hard for me to fathom it could get any worse, but I think it is.
And let me ask you this. Have you been following a lot of the ICE DHS raids that have been going on here?
ICE what?
The raids in the community?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's horrible. I mean, it's reminiscent of 1930s in Europe.
And we're in Germany right now, guys. We're basically in 1930s.
I think this has been planned for a long time, and I think
I fucking wish
it's designed to implant fear in the hearts of the people, but I don't think it's going to work.
No. You know, interestingly enough, all of these attempts at holding on to power that he has engaged in, I think he's awakened a sleeping giant because people are now from all ages are out in the street.
Well, I think, we the people are one of the pillars that hold up a free society and democracy. And eventually people are starting to see what's going on. And, most of the institutions have failed us. And people are beginning to understand that it's life or death. This is it.
So what do you see happening in the next year as far as, because you're right, all of these institutions have failed. Our checks and balances are hanging by a thread at this point. We have some courts that are holding the line, and that's pretty much it. What do you think comes next?
I don't know. All I know, it's going to get, I predict it's going to get, believe it or not, worse. But I think they're falling apart. I think this is a cornered animal. But it's going to get really
other
ugly.
Protest coverage, tell me where to look, and I will
we'll see.
turn up
Hopefully,
stuff on too.
You know, we'll open the floodgates of sunshine. But in the meantime, we got to work for it.
Hey, thanks, Drew.
It's 18 degrees out here right now. It's very cold, freezing temperatures, and there's still a large crowd out here. How many people do you say it out here? 100?
I'm guessing 500, but I don't know. I don't know.
For how cold it is, it's a decent-sized crowd. I'm freezing to death, and I'm like, let's go.
The thing is, it took me as long to get dressed for this as it is for me to be here.
Yeah, girl, I got you. I got like 9 layers on.
No, I can hardly walk, you know.
Right on. Thank you for talking with us. Appreciate that. So, this is someone talking to me about how, 6 months ago, maybe
Freedom
the Epstein
TV's
files
channel?
didn't seem as big of a deal as they do today.
Live stream, honestly.
There seems to be a lot in there that ties Trump to a lot worse than what we thought 6 months ago. Also mentioning that our institutions have failed in the first part of this year. You had Elon Musk that went in there and gutted everything, and that was part of the plan, right? I think it's also worth mentioning that the Border Patrol that has become so key in the last 6 months of everything that's going on does have a lower bar as far as making Fourth Amendment probable cause, right? They just have to have reasonable suspicion. I think that in retrospect, that is part of the calculus that the Trump administration engaged in when they decided to bring these guys front and center.
We want justice, you say how? Free Maduro, free him now!
So, what is your full
Live
name?
again. Thank you.
My name is Allison Gunderson.
And you just got back from a trip to Venezuela before anybody thought this was going to happen. I mean, Trump has been moving military into that area for a while, but I did not see this coming. I woke up this morning. I'm
protest in front of the White House, guys.
This thing called politics, because this is how this thing called politics.
Uh-oh. Bad sound. Bad sound. We're going back here.
And our bombing truck is the capital city.
So I thought it was very telling this morning when he was talking to the media that he kept saying our oil. Like he was referring to Venezuelan oil as our oil, which is kind of a wild thing. I mean, this is a sovereign nation. It's their oil. What is this guy talking about? And then I think he also went on to make the case that all of these American oil companies are going to go and rebuild the infrastructure, but the money was going to go to the Venezuelan people, which seems outrageous.
Yeah, there's no way that that's not just going to go into oligarchs' pockets like Trump, his cronies, and U.S. American oil companies. The only way that we can do what's best for the Venezuela, for them as a country, for their people, is to let them determine what they want with their.
Hey, Clark. These slogans are retarded. Hey, Clark, when was the last time you went to a protest? When was the last time you got off your fat fucking ass and went outside to a protest or a rally? When was the last time you carried a sign? What was the last chant you chanted? Oh, wait, you've never done anything? Oh, wow, you've never done anything and you just want to shit on other people who are doing things? You want to know why the left wins and the right loses? Because the right doesn't do anything except go, the left is so bad. While the right literally does nothing. The left is out there organizing protests within 12 hours in 12-degree weather where everyone's really fucking cold, but they still got off their fucking lazy ass and went outside and protested anyway. Well, you guys sat around inside and said, they're retarded. Okay, Clark, okay, shut the fuck up.
But does that mean that another country should come and attempt a coup and take care of the situation? That should be us. And that's the same.
They get paid. Oh my God. Oh, guys.
Same story over and over again.
I have found the stupidest person in the chat today. We found him. We didn't know where the biggest retard in the chat was going to come from, but we just found him. They're paid protesters. They don't really want to be there. They're only there because they get paid. They wouldn't be doing this if they didn't get paid. They don't have jobs. We only don't do this because we have jobs and they don't have jobs and they're all paid protesters and this is all Soros funded. Okay. Retard detected. Opinion rejected. Cynthia, see, Cynthia loves it when I tell people off. Cynthia, I know what you like, okay? I know what you like. Cynthia fucking loves it when I tell people off. Thank you, Cynthia, for the 5-channel memberships. I appreciate that.
Today. And of course, you know, they have such strong solidarity with everyone's struggles. And Cuba and Venezuela are very much in solidarity. And an attack on Venezuela is an attack on Cuba.
Yeah.
Things will only keep escalating
I appreciate
in that
it.
region. And even here in the U.S., you know, that sentiment of an attack on one is an attack on all.
Yeah, no, and you know what? Here's the other thing. The third part of that is that he has also chosen to support complete right-wing dictators in the region at the same time. Like he bailed out the guy in Chile. Was it Chile I'm thinking about? All those billions of dollars. Because why? Because he has, you know, shared ideology of right-wing ideas, and he finds the left obviously very threatening. So my concern at this point is that he's going to carry on doing more of this sort of regime change support. And it's wild to me because so many people, this is icy.
The sound on the other one.
So many people were
Okay, I can't understand that bitch. I can't understand her. I'm sorry. She's speaking in Spanish accent.
Indiscriminately.
You guys know
a
how
country
much I
that's
hate
done
Spanish.
nothing. I mean, I keep.
Oh yeah, I'm totally wrong. Oh yeah,
Thank you
you're
for talking
totally
about this. I
banned on
appreciate
my
it, but I wanted to
channel.
get some of your more thoughts on that.
You're
since you were
totally
just
banned
here.
on my channel. Get the fuck out.
All right, so we are now in a residential area, and it's very icy. So we're gonna march up here ahead. Be careful, John. I have visions of John and us sliding down the street.
No more sanctions, no more bombs. No more sanctions, no more bombs. No more sanctions, no more bombs.
We're going to hear all the conservative retard talking points today, guys. We are literally going to hear all the conservative retard talking points. I'm going to be yelling at a lot of people. I'm going to be banning probably a record number of retards today.
Okay, that was funny. We just walked by some palace of bricks that somebody's, I guess, building a wall with, and John made the joke that they were Antifa bricks. All right, hang on.
But have you seen any analysis of how being out there actually helps their cause? Are
We're
you
going to get up
fucking
ahead of this
serious?
protest so you can see the length of it.
Are you serious? Are you serious? How much does it affect? They're not trying to get elected. And thank you for the money. I appreciate the money. That's why I muted this, to tell you off and to explain to you why this is so fucking retarded. The left does not want to get elected. Getting elected has nothing to do with what the left is doing. You don't understand their initial goal. You assume they're trying to get elected because all conservative retard cares about are the next elections, because the next elections are the most important elections of our lifetime, and you have to pick from the lesser of two evils. And do you want a Democrat to win? So we have to vote for these shitty Republican candidates over and over and over again. Even though these shitty Republican candidates only care about kissing the ass of Israel, it doesn't matter. Even though these shitty Republican candidates never actually do anything that help the American people, we have to vote for the Republicans, because if we don't do that, the Democrats will lose it. The Democrats will win. And if you don't vote for the Republicans, you're really a leftist. And all Republicans care about is whatever bullshit talking points they are using to try to win the next fucking election. The left doesn't care about the next fucking election. They don't even vote in elections. The people that you're watching right now do not vote in fucking elections. These are revolutionary socialists and communists. When they're out there protesting, they're recruiting and radicalizing more people to the far left. When they're out there protesting and doing rallies week after week after week, are you fucking serious? You've watched my channel for this long and you don't understand that the reason that ICE is being chased out of every major American city, the reason that we only have 325,000 deportations this year, less than 500,000 fucking deportations. The reason we only have less than 500,000 fucking deportations in the first year of the new Trump era is because of the leftist protest, is because of the leftist activism. The reason the left owns every major school in America, the reason the left owns every fucking teachers union is because of shit like this. The reason the left is going to be able to shut down our entire fucking economy come May 1st, 2028, which is the mass general strike that they are preparing for years in advance, is because of shit like this. They are training people to go out and protest and be disruptive. These are all little practice exercises. So thank you for the money, but it is downright retarded to think that this doesn't do anything. You are not hinged into reality when you think that this doesn't do anything. This is why there are no mass fucking deportations. This type of organizing is why there are no mass deportations in the United States, and there will never be, because they literally chased Trump out of multiple American cities. What's the solution? Sit down, shut the fuck up, and learn about the enemy you're fighting, because right now, none of you retards actually know what you're talking about. What's the solution? Shut up and learn. Actually hinge into reality. Stop shilling the latest bullshit talking point that your influencers have given you, and learn who your real enemy is, and learn what they're doing, and learn how they're doing it, and learn what they believe, and learn what their language means. Sit the fuck down, shut up, and pay attention. That's what you do. And if you are not willing to do that, there is nothing that you can do. There is nothing. Repeat after me, magatards. The commie left doesn't want or need political power. They have institutional power. They want to abolish all the systems. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Thank you, Rottweiler. And our queen, Cynthia, is in with another 5 channel memberships because Cynthia loves it when I tell people off. Appreciate it.
Turn those Navy ships around. Turn those Navy ships around. Hands up Venezuela now. Hands up Venezuela now. Turn those Navy ships around. Turn those Navy ships around. Hands up Venezuela now. Hands up Venezuela now. Turn those Navy
Unironically,
ships
yes,
around.
that is the thing people need to do. Shut the fuck up and listen.
Venezuela is under attack. What do we do? When Venezuela is under attack.
What do we do? Stand up, fight back.
When Venezuela is under attack.
What do we do? Stand up, fight back.
When Venezuela is under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
Woo! Give it up for yourselves. Hands up Venezuela. Free President Maduro. U.S. out of Venezuela. And U.S. imperialism. Am I right?
From Venezuela to Iran. No more sanctions, no more bombs.
No more sanctions, no more bombs.
From Venezuela to Iran. No more sanctions, no more bombs.
Well, I think the truth of it, I think the truth of it is I think the left has been, I don't think they had these signs printed overnight, by the way. I think the left has been anticipating this because Trump's been talking about this. Trump's been posturing about this. So just like the left kind of anticipated what Trump was going to do with deportations and got ahead of him, because you guys know the left was paying attention to what Trump was planning on doing with mass deportations before Trump even got into office, right? They planned ahead because they knew he was going to go all in on the deportations, and they got ahead of him, and that's why the protests became so effective and so pivotal in basically stopping his ability to deport people, because they planned ahead and they just got there before him. And it's kind of the same with this. I think they probably already had the stuff printed and ready to go. And by the way, if anyone thinks that these are well-funded operations, these are not well-funded operations. They literally drew up the guys. This sign, this is drawn with a marker on a giant piece of paper. This is not a well-funded operation, guys. That's a marker That's not printed. Okay. But Freedom Road Socialist Organization definitely did print these, but I think that they had already printed them. I think that they had them ready to go.
Hands off Venezuelan soil! Trump wants war! Trump wants oil! Hands off Venezuelan soil! We want justice, you say how?
Yeah, I guess you can go into Office Depot and print stuff really quick. You're right about that, Rottweiler.
We want justice, you say how?
I'm almost out of coffee.
Maduro, free him now! We want justice, you say how? Free Maduro, free him now!
Are we going to have to watch this coverage tonight? I really don't want to. These aren't liberals. These are not liberals. Only retards think we're watching liberals.
U.S. sanctions are a crime. We will say it every time. U.S. sanctions are a crime. We will say it every time. U.S. sanctions are a crime.
So we are winding our way through residential areas of downtown Minneapolis right now. It's a group about, I'd say, 300 to 400 people.
300 to 400 people
rallying together against the invasion of Venezuela.
We demand justice. We demand peace. From Venezuela to the Middle East. We demand justice. We demand peace.
Want to try and get somebody else?
These are not fucking liberals. Are you fucking stupid? We have you've been on the stream the entire time. These are not fucking liberals. Stop saying retarded shit in the chat.
No more sanctions, no more wars. No more sanctions, no more wars. We won't stay quiet anymore. No more sanctions.
But no, by the way, liberals are not useful idiots for leftists. Leftists fucking hate liberals. The only retards in the world who think that liberals are useful idiots for leftists are conservatives who don't actually listen to the left. So no, not in any way. Only retards think these are paid protesters. If you think these are paid protesters, you're not smart enough to be on my channel. Get the fuck out. My God. We're going to hear all the talking points today, guys. All of the do I have enough weed to even get through this day? I don't know. I don't know if I do.
Socialism and liberation.
Yeah,
and we've been involved in organizing our community in a variety of ways.
What is your full name? I know you're here with the
ESL.
Venezuela anti-war protests, but you also cover rapid response ICE raid stuff here in Minneapolis.
Yes, my name is Simon. I'm an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation.
Yes.
And we've been involved in organizing our community in a variety of ways. Obviously, you see today we have a great turnout on a short notice. We only sent the word out at about 9 a.m. this morning.
9 a.m.
You see we have multiple hundreds of people already in the streets for Venezuela.
That's
and we've also been organizing our communities in raid response work, as well as doing meeting the community's needs in terms of getting supplies and helping cover families' rents. And yeah, it's been really powerful to see how the Twin Cities has shown up, both for attacks on our community domestically and attacks on the people of Venezuela abroad.
I've been keeping an eye on that, JR. I will definitely contact them about that. Thank you.
Wait, did you not catch any of the
I'm almost positive that the only thing that really matters is the date on the check and that they'll backdate it for you, but I will definitely check in on that.
So I want to ask you, ICE has been really going down hard, obviously, on the Somali community here in Minneapolis. And some of the attacks that have been coming out are clearly driven in deep racism. Like,
oh yeah,
worse than I've seen anywhere in the country thus far. What are your thoughts on that?
The discourse that we've seen from the Trump administration has been really just vitriolic. It's attacking our Somali neighbors, our Somali community members. And we've seen the result is then you have people, right-wing agitators like Nick Shirley, who's no journalist, coming to Minneapolis.
Nick Shirley
and really trying to further advance that narrative. These, misleading narratives, racist narratives that really feed into a policy of, allowing the Trump administration to start moving towards denaturalization of people who have residency here, and attacks on not only our undocumented community, but also people who have status here or people who are citizens.
No, and that is part of it. That seems to me to be the next phase, right? What's interesting to me about this particular situation is we are seeing a group of citizens that are clearly right-wing agitators, right? They're clout chasers. They're young. They've probably been heavily influenced by the Groyper community and other things like that. These are kids that are basically looking to create content, get clout. They don't care about the truth. But clearly also very much grounded in this America First racism, right? So I think the ultimate goal in seeing this coordination, right? So when Nick Shirley first put the video out, you had Elon Musk sharing it, then you had JD Vance sharing it. I have no doubt they've been communicating behind the scenes.
Socialism and Liberation. We know
so
who they are.
Like a coordinated effort to do this. And I think you're right. That's leading to this idea of having a white nationalist country, right? Well, now that we've done the deportation of all these quote unquote illegal people, why can't we denaturalize the ones we don't want here, right?
Yeah, and there was actually a Minnesota state representative who took credit saying that they coordinated with Nick Shirley about the video. Yeah, it was a couple days ago. So certainly it's not like the Republicans are, still playing some sort of civility politics or anything, but they're fully become the MAGA party and they're fully embracing these really racist narratives. And we also see, we're obviously here at a protest against the war on Venezuela, Trump's bombing and abduction of a sitting president of a sovereign nation. And we saw a month earlier this year, the Trump administration was demonizing Venezuelan immigrants and using all these narratives of, raiding apartment buildings full of families, really violent raids, and then saying, oh, well, that's, there were gangs there, so as to justify it. And these things are connected. And so now there's this narrative of Venezuelans in the United States or what life is like in Venezuela that opens the door for something like we saw last night, the bombing of Caracas, as I mentioned before.
Well, I mean, that's part of like going after this daycare stuff, right? Saying they're criminals, even though the person that masterminded it was a white woman. That doesn't get discussed by these guys.
Keep us safe.
Anyway, I know you got to pay attention here. Thank you for talking with us.
That was a great interview.
Making the interesting point here about the crossover between these right-wing influencers and the White House and other in the heritage part of the 2025 arena. These guys have all been coordinating. This is a joint effort. This isn't truthful journalism at all. It's guys that are trying to create a certain narrative and propaganda for an agenda that they are deeply committed to. So the next level of that agenda would be to denaturalize those that they don't want in the country.
Yeah,
so we're seeing that now.
I think we definitely should. But can you guys imagine the left actually thinks that the Groypers are coordinating with the White House? The far left believes the Groypers are coordinating with the White House?
That at one point or another saying that these are the individuals that we don't want in the country, we should take away their citizenship. So I don't see what's going to stop him from doing that now. And I'm really, really cold. I'm going to put my mask up for a minute.
So people join.
Trump's attacks are war crimes. Trump's attacks are war crimes. From Venezuela to Palestine. Trump's attacks are war crimes. Trump's attacks are war crimes. From Venezuela to Palestine. Trump's attacks are war crimes. Trump's attacks are war crimes. From Venezuela to Palestine.
Yo, I don't know, bro. I try to teach. I try. I'm doing my part.
Trump's attacks are war crimes.
Pop quiz for the chat. Pop quiz for the chat. For the far left, what does Venezuela have to do with Palestine? They're saying from Venezuela to Palestine, Trump's attacks are war crimes. What does for the left, not for you, for the left, what does Venezuela have to do with Palestine? Why are those two things related for the left? Let me see how much you guys are how much you guys are learning. You are obviously learning nothing, bro. So literally shut the fuck up and learn or get out. Honestly, I'm not impressed. Hey, thanks, Scott, for being a member of the channel for 17 months. Like, this lady is not propaganda, so blind by the hate. Love your hair. I helped Nick with his findings. I'm a fraud specialist. Hey, I appreciate that. Nick Shirley did a great job. I have nothing but good things to say about what that kid did. And I mean, I'm so happy for all the success that he's getting, and I'm so happy for all the attention he's getting. And I love that he's inspiring other people to go out there and do the same thing. I think it's a really, really good thing. And the fact that the left is so pissed off, it just tells me everything I need to know. The fact that the left are naming Nick Shirley by name is a big fucking deal. They normally don't do this. So the fact that the left is naming Nick Shirley by name, the fact that the left is naming the Groypers by name, they usually don't do this, guys. They really don't. They very rarely mention actual people that are doing things on the conservative right. So that's progress. It means they're afraid of them. They are afraid.
Not for war and occupation.
They think Palestine is oppressed. They do think that. They do think that. Okay, let's get back to our question. Yep, they're both oppressed. It's about the theft of land. They're both being hurt by imperial capitalist countries. Yep. This is we're answering the pop quiz of what does Venezuela have to do with Palestine? Nobody's free until everyone is free. They're both oppressed. They're both the South. Venezuela is the oppressed faction at the hands of capitalism. Yup, true. All about American imperialism, colonized land. This is about the land, guys. It's about the land. That's what it's about. It's not about Jewish. It's not about Mexican or Venezuelan. It's not about any of that. It's not about Muslim. It's not about any of that. It's about the land. They're oppressed peoples that are victims of colonization, oppressed. Yup.
Get me from behind.
Well done. No, it's not just another talking point. No, literally shut the fuck up and look at the chat, because they're teaching you something you obviously aren't learning yet. It is not just a talking point. This is what they believe.
If you're joining us, we are live streaming from
I'm a lot more impressed with them
downtown
than I am with you, which is why you just got permanently banned from my channel.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Protest that was organized this morning in response to the Trump regime's actions last night.
We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Free Maduro, free him now!
Free Maduro, free him now!
We want justice, you say how?
Yeah, where would you like us to be?
Free Maduro, free him now!
Yeah, Netanyahu just congratulated Trump. Yeah, of course he did.
No bombs in the air, you're gonna say U.S. out of everywhere. No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air. No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air.
U.S. out of everywhere.
No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air. No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air. No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air.
U.S. out of everywhere.
No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air. No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air. No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air. No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air.
I hope they interview more people. That'd be pretty great.
No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air.
It has nothing to do with a bank. Disorderly conduct on rubble. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the land. The left believes that the Venezuelans are oppressed by capitalism. They believe the Palestinians are oppressed by capitalism. They believe that the United States is dictating the theft of the land in both countries. It is all about the land. Well, they don't believe they were dictators. They don't believe that. First of all, the Palestinians weren't being like that. That's just not true about the Palestinians. If you believe that, you need to stop listening to whoever told you that. That's just not true. They believe Israel stole the land from the Palestinians and privatized it under the oppressive force of capitalism. That the Palestinians are engaged in a decolonization uprising. They believe that the same thing is happening in Venezuela. The U.S. is going in and stealing the land. Trump literally said he wanted to run the country today. It is all about the land. That is what it is about. Capital means private property ownership.
Thank you. Let's hear it for following the direction.
No, not when it comes to Trump. Not when it, no, this is no. Not when it comes to Trump. They don't give a flying fuck about Trump. It's about capitalism.
John, it's really slippery here. It's really slippery. So we are marching through downtown Minneapolis. It is very icy out here and cold today, but people came out to support this protest. We have several hundred people marching. Last minute, organized this morning.
They don't watch the mainstream media,
making the ties
bro. No,
between
wrong,
not only
wrong.
what
They
happened
do
in
not
Venezuela
watch
last
the
night,
mainstream media.
but also the ongoing immigration raids against the Somali community.
Socialist Alternative, that's another socialist organization. So we got the PSL, we've got Freedom Road Socialist Organization, we've got the Socialist Alternative. Those are three far left communist organizations in this protest that we've seen so far.
Fuck Marco Rubio! Fuck Marco Rubio! Fuck Team Hexen! Fuck Team Hexen! Fuck JD Vance! Fuck JD Vance!
They got this all coordinated in a couple hours, guys. Several hundred people marching in very cold weather in Minnesota. In a couple of hours, they got this up and running. That's impressive. Regardless of whether you agree with them, that is an impressive level of organizing. Yeah, well, guess what? The left doesn't care if people are white. That's a bullshit conservative talking point. They don't give a flying fuck about skin color. So maybe stop listening
Julian
to people who lie to you.
Assange. Yeah. Did you hear the statement he made about Maria Corina Machado?
I did not. Tell us.
He thinks that her Nobel Peace Prize
you know
should
what,
be
asshole?
revoked.
100 would still be impressive.
Violate.
If they only got 100 people to come out in a couple hours to protest in very cold weather in Minnesota, that is still more than any GOP group can do in America. You understand that, right? So that would even still be impressive. Conservatives think they're owning the libs by going, they only got 100 people to come out and protest in a couple of hours. Who do they think they are? And it's like, okay, how many can you get out? How many can you get out? How many can your local Republican group get out? 3 or 4, maybe, if you're lucky. Okay.
It's really a warped prize now.
Yeah, it doesn't mean much if you're giving it to people that are bombing others in the name of peace.
Yeah. But anyway, it's great to see Julian Assange back on the job. He seems to be fully recovered from his torturous experience, and he's back in the thick of it.
Yes. Thank you for that. I agree.
You're welcome.
If you're just joining us, we are at a anti-war protest in downtown Minneapolis. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what's going on? Uh-oh.
I'm going to try going as fast as I can, but it's very
Palestine
slippery in this
flag.
ice.
Giant-ass Palestinian flag.
Also, if you are not a member of Status Coup, please consider joining and becoming a member. Your $5 a month helps us fund our journalism. It's what pays for our hotels, our airs, our food, our live view, and everything that we use to make this reporting possible.
Oh, look, we got a retard in the chat who thinks we're communists. The retard thinks we're communists, guys. You people are something else. This retard either thinks that we're communists or he's talking to people on the TV and he thinks they can hear him. We're not communist, retard. Hey, Spartan over on Rumble. Thank you for the Rumble rant. Barely looks like 100. You try getting 100 people out on the street by tomorrow morning. I have one even better. Just get out 10 people, but with loaded rifles by tomorrow at 5 a.m. I bet your number is 1 or is it? Yeah, exactly. But I would not recommend people try to get out people with loaded rifles. I think that's a bad idea. You really shouldn't do that. But hey, thanks for the money. Appreciate it.
Money for jobs and education. Money for jobs and education. Not for war and deportation.
Not for war and deportation.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for war and deportation.
Not for war and deportation.
Money for jobs and education.
Money for jobs and education.
Not for war and deportation.
Not for war and deportation.
No truth on the ground, no bombs in the air.
No truth on the ground, no bombs in the air.
U.S. out of everywhere.
U.S. out of everywhere.
No truth on the ground, no bombs in the air.
U.S. out of everywhere.
U.S. out of everywhere. No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air. No troops on the ground, no bombs in the air. U.S. out of everywhere. U.S. out of everywhere. We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Hands off Venezuela now.
Hands off Venezuela now.
We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how? Hands off Venezuela now. Hands off Venezuela now. We want justice, you say how? We want justice, you say how?
Hands off Venezuela now.
Hands off Venezuela now. Viva Venezuela!
Wow!
Oh, you say que viva. We're learning this one. Viva Venezuela! Viva! Viva Venezuela! Viva! Viva Venezuela! Viva! Eso!
Same thing, say que viva! Viva Maduro! Viva Maduro! Viva Maduro! We stand with immigrants! Not Donald Trump or J.D. Vance! We stand with immigrants! Not Donald Trump or J.D. Vance! We stand with immigrants! Not Donald Trump or J.D. Vance! 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Intervention no more. Intervention no more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Intervention no more. Intervention no more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Intervention no more. Intervention no more. No coup. No sanctions.
Oh yeah, they turn. Oh, I'm sorry. This is
We have
You're
some
done
police
here. Goodbye,
vehicles
and
off to the
I
right
can't-
on
I
Lake
can't.
Street.
No, too stupid.
They don't seem to be doing anything more than just idling there in their cars, observing from a distance.
I think that's like Metro Police.
Oh, is it Metro?
No more U.S. escalation. No more U.S. escalation. No coup. No sanctions. No coup. No sanctions. No more U.S. escalation. No more U.S. escalation. Money for jobs and education.
So we are marching towards this freeway overpass that is ahead here on
they're
Minnehaha,
marching to
where
a
these
freeway overpass.
these absolutely
Oh,
beautiful
that's
murals
great.
that were painted and decorated with like
That's
mosaic
great.
tile during the BLM period. So we're going to pass by those. I'm going to make sure that John gets some video of them.
Hands on Venezuelan soil.
All right, apparently we have to state the obvious again for people who are not paying attention. Hey, do you want to know who's coming from Venezuela? The people who don't want to live in communism. Do you want to know who's staying in Venezuela? The people who want to live in communism. Do you know who's in Venezuela right now? The country that Trump wants to run. A whole bunch of fucking communists. You want to know why? Because the people who didn't want to live in communism left. So you think you're owning the libs here. No, you're not. You're just pointing out how batshit stupid it is that we are going to take over and run a country filled with fucking communists. Congrats. Hey, Cynthia in with another 5 channel memberships. I appreciate you, Cynthia. Thank you. Thank you, my darling. Thank you. I don't know what the 19th. That's a good question, actually. This sign says, "Welcome to 1939. Which side are you on?" Oh, they're saying that we're in 1930s Germany, guys. They're saying you're either on the side of the communists or the side of the Nazis. So pick a side. That's actually true, by the way.
We stand with immigrants. Not Donald Trump or J.D. Vance. The people united will never be defeated.
Only literal retards believe this. You might not be smart enough to be here if you believe this. Get the fuck out. Go to Fox News. This is not true at all. Literally shut the fuck up and learn or go. Too dumb. Too dumb of a chat. Look at all these stupid conservative talking points in my chat right now.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it.
Okay, so we're not going up to where the murals are. That's a bummer.
Oh, no.
Okay.
United will never be defeated.
We'll never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
All right, so we've now made a turn into the Target parking lot here. I thought maybe we were going to march under the freeway underpass and see those murals, but I guess not. This might be the end of the march then, actually.
Uh-oh, might be the end of the march. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You saw that guy with the car.
That'd be too bad. Oh, no. Why are you here? What's going on? You never come around.
I wanted to talk to you.
Oh, okay. You never come around for socialist streams. What are you doing here? Who has said what about me on their stream? There's no reason for you to be here right now. What's going on?
These right-wing, sort of young Groyper influence lunatics have been making up this whole narrative that has all kinds of holes in it and whatnot. And obviously most of it's being driven by racism. But what are some of the things that you've been seeing since you've been actively involved with all that?
True.
So I think that the biggest thing that you'll notice is that the community is really pulling together. There's no leader in this response. It's all just neighbors looking out for each other. And so we've quickly organized. We've learned lessons from Chicago and Portland, and we have made sure that we are just in our neighborhoods, boots on the ground, so to speak, showing up for our neighbors.
Right. So, the way they had situated it in Los Angeles is very similar to what I've been seeing out here, where you have somebody minding who's leaving the main facilities where they're staging out, whether it's the detention center or someplace else. These are the plates that are going out, and then everybody else is looking around to make sure that they can protect folks if they show up.
You want Hormack to have talked about me?
Why
do
you think, I have thoughts on this, but I'm curious about yours. Why do you think they are targeting Minneapolis Somali community? I think there's probably some influences because Ilhan Omar is here and obviously the race things, but they've really made it a stepping stone in upping what they're doing, because I think that they're looking at now just not deporting people that are criminals here illegally, whatever rhetoric they're using, whatever nonsense they're saying, but also to let's talk about, removing citizenship from people that we've given it to.
Yeah. So I think that what you'll see is there's a personal vendetta, and this is just my personal opinion, what I feel and what I've witnessed. We had a lot of political violence that has targeted Minnesota. We'll never forget the devastation that raked through the community when Melissa Hortman was assassinated. Our representatives continuously receive death threats because they resist Donald Trump. Ilhan Omar, when she hosts town halls, for example, has said how much herself and her family have been the targets of
what your point is, Jason. You don't know what's going on, so no one
constantly under threat.
Literally, no one
One of
cares.
the largest Somali populations in the United States. And
You
the fact
obviously
of the
didn't
matter is
understand the
that
point
when you
I'm
look
making
at
because you might
the
not be smart enough.
demographics, without racism, without the tint, over 90% of Somalis in Minnesota are U.S. citizens. They are naturalized. They have done the work. They probably know more about U.S. history than I do at this point, because they've had to prove themselves, right?
I mean,
Cynthia,
how many U.S.
you
citizens can actually pass the test that you're required
Cynthia,
to pass to become a
you
U.S.
don't-
I probably couldn't.
Listen, I mean, Cynthia, you donate more than enough. You donate more than your fair share. I'm actually ashamed at how much more you donate than other people on the channel. Thank you for your constant, ongoing, never-ending, amazing support, Cynthia. We appreciate you. I should send Nick a message and tell him that he's taking up space. I don't know. I don't know that Nick's going to care about that too much. Nick has bigger things on his mind than that, but I'm sure one of the gripers will report back at some point if they feel like it's important. All right, guys, we're watching some leftist protest coverage. We will be doing Socialism Saturday at 6 p.m. tonight. I'm trying to find something to watch right now. And so if you have any suggestions for what to watch for Socialism Saturday, you let me know, all right?
I think a lot of Democrats are sort of not happy with the lack of response from a lot of their leaders right now.
True.
And I know, like in Minnesota, Chicago, these are areas where you've had a very strong reactionary response to what's going on with Donald Trump, even more so than in California, in my opinion. So how much of that do you think figures into the narrative?
I think it plays a large role because I'm not going to name names, because that's important not to. But there are state representatives that are involved in rapid response. There are state representatives that are out here every day showing up at the raids, in the chats, at any event like this, front and center defending their communities, speaking up for immigrant populations, speaking up for their constituents. And as an organization, Minnesota 5051 has been in touch with Tim Walz and the officials at the state capitol to say, we appreciate your vocal support of Minnesotans. We want to see more. And there's been some backlash on that because people think that we're, eating our own. And that's not the case. Number one, Minnesota 5051 is nonpartisan. Number two, we feel that as Americans, it is our job to challenge our leaders to show up in the way that their constituents need them to show up and to meet the moment. And in this case, you see it all around you. It's going to take more than a pithy response on the internet.
Yeah, no, pithy response is going to do nothing at this point. So would you say that we're entering a phase of fascism? Like I interviewed a guy earlier that doesn't think we're there yet. I think the signs are there myself. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that when it comes to fascism, people are afraid to use that word because they don't understand what it means.
Okay.
And so what I will say is that we are in a stage of hyperinflation, where the average family can no longer support groceries the way that they used to, where the next generation, the last two generations, may not ever be able to own a home. And meanwhile, we've got our own government sponsoring domestic terrorism by snatching people off the street, regardless of whether they have citizenship or not. Right. We're in an era where state-sponsored control is going up to people on the street, like you and me, and asking papers.
Right.
That doesn't sound like democracy to me. That doesn't sound like innocent until proven guilty to me. And when you look at the people who have been disappeared because they're not keeping records of who's been taken, families are not able to get a hold of their loved ones, what you'll notice is that there are striking and appalling similarities to history that are akin to the rise of fascism and the lead up to World War II.
Yeah.
We need to learn from history or we're doomed to repeat it.
Indeed. I think you're making a really solid point when it comes to the income inequality, right? Income inequality has always been something that's undergirded any sort of authoritarianism that's come into play anywhere in the world, not just in the United States or Europe. So, and we are seeing insane income equality now. It's worse than it was during the 20s. This is, as Jordan would call it, the new Gilded Age that we're in right now. And clearly the Trump administration, you had some numbers that you had in your speech that were crazy. The amount of money that he has extracted.
Yeah, $3.4 billion between the crypto scams, the merch releases, skimping on, getting Walmart prints for the Oval Office. He's a grifter and a fraud and a liar, and he's benefiting off of our collective
on my website.
indifference. There's not enough people that are willing to stand up and do something about it.
Right. The crypto scams. I want to talk about that just real quickly for 1 second, because I think that is something that is not discussed enough. He has basically used crypto to get money from other countries, other folks in other countries that have given him money for things, right? And built to the tune of billions of dollars. They've been running it through this whole crypto organization that he had established. I mean, this is crazy, right?
I definitely think it's not becoming behavior for a president, for the leader of the free world. This is not, he's still running his business schemes and scams, and we're eating it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, I agree with you. One last question. The one set of checks and balances that seems to be only semi-holding at this point is some of our court system, right? I think a lot of our other institutions have failed. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. How long does that continue?
It's hard to say. I can't say. But the problem is that if our leaders don't stand up to fascism, as what you're seeing today, the people are going to stand up against it. And the movement right now, especially through Minnesota 5051, we remain nonviolent. We remain committed to the Constitution and the laws of the land. At the same time, we're not going to let this pass by without challenge.
Well, but that's exactly right. So ICE, for example, is not necessarily abiding by constitutional law. We have other government agencies that are kind of thumbing their nose at the Constitution. The Constitution is the law of the land. Not law enforcement in and of itself is not the law of the land. The Constitution is. And when you have law enforcement that is behaving in a lawless way, it's not law and order. So what's wild to me, though, is the folks that have been screaming about tyranny now for 2 decades are sort of falling asleep right now. Like, this is actually what tyranny looks like, folks, the start of it at least. And they don't seem to be able to acknowledge that. It's kind of the strange disconnect. So is it because they're just in some cult? Like, what's happening here?
I think that there's definitely some of that. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, most of the people who voted for Trump didn't vote for new wars. They didn't vote for all of these machinations and division. What they voted for is the same thing that all of us want. We want to be able to afford to feed our families. We want to be able to have careers that give us the ability to retire instead of being worked to death. And I think, unfortunately, if you look at the probability, is this malice or is this ignorance? And I think it's ignorance in this case. They are given a story that seems plausible and believable, and they run with it. And I say they because I would never vote for Trump. But I don't think that it's malice. I think that if we can find a way to come together and find the common ground and just understand that I want what's best for my family, and most of that just means being able to live in peace, being able to choose who I love, decide what happens to my body, work in a job that lets me take care of my family. I think I want the same things that they want. And if the government would just stay out of other people's beds and other people's families and other people's pocketbooks, it would be fine.
That's just it. Liberty for one is liberty for all. But these folks...
Live and let live is what I would love to see. But unfortunately, this is about power, it's about control, and it's about money. Every decision that they make, it all comes back to that.
Indeed. So the one thing I will say is that the reason that they don't get that liberty for one, liberty for all mantra is because they've sort of been led into this like cultural, religious area where they believe that having religious freedom, right, is liberty. Like they're equating being able to exclude people that don't have the same beliefs as them as actually being liberty when it's really kind of the opposite. Does that make sense?
I think I hear what you're saying. And I think that when it comes to the resistance to liberty for all, is that my liberty doesn't look the same as their liberty.
Right.
It doesn't fall into the Christian traditional ideals. And therefore, it's still falling into that same pattern that's so hard to break out of, that different equals bad. Right. And that's what we've got to really fight against. Different does not equal bad. Whether you're talking about Somali immigrants, whether you're talking about Hispanic immigrants, somebody who doesn't speak the same language as you, different does not equal bad. And if we could just get that message across, I think that we would be able to start sewing up some of this rift in the United States.
Thank you so much for your time. It was as good as an interview as I knew it was going to be. I'm so glad we saw you. I was looking for you earlier in the March. Yeah. I appreciate it. What is your full name again for the folks?
You can call me Cobalt. I'm with 5051. And if you're not yet in your neighborhood rapid response, make sure to get out there. You can look for training online, mn50501.org. Thank you.
Right on. Thanks for talking with us.
All right. Thank you.
So before we sign off, a couple of points that I think are really valid right now as we're standing in this ice-strewn parking lot. Really insane income inequality, I think she's right, is what's driving a lot of this divide right now.
They're
a lot
going
of the
to
anger.
Talk when they're being interviewed.
We
Are
do
you
have
guys
to lay some
insane?
blame at the feet of the Democratic Party. they had an opportunity to have what I would call a left exit to the income inequality. They chose to not take the left exit, which sort of left the right exit. And, when Trump first ran for office, I'm going back to 2015 now, you have to really examine where we were at that time. People didn't quite grasp how dangerous Trump was. They knew that if they had Hillary Clinton, though a lot of folks knew that that would be like a pro-banking community, a pro-corporation, and they knew they didn't want that. And they knew they wanted change. At that time, I kept saying Trump is way more dangerous than people are giving him credit for. But, that was an unknown. Now, this time around, we knew he was dangerous, and some people chose to support him anyway. I thought that, my personal opinion, that was a bad idea, but here we are. I will say this, we are now seeing people waking up from that sort of fever dream, if you want to call it that, and they're realizing that Trump isn't the guy that he said he was going to be. He's been engaging in massive corruption. He's been extracting wealth from the country. I mean, from other nations. The jet from Qatar is only one example, right? He's been running all kinds of foreign money and foreign influence through his crypto scam. That's part of the conversation. I don't know how much worse it can get before it gets better, but we are definitely headed toward a breaking point here.
Got it. Thanks, Reagan.
So anyway, we are here in downtown Minneapolis. We've just got finished covering the anti-war protests. John and I are going to be down here on the ground in the next few days trying to get some more coverage of what's going on with immigration raids. I'm going to investigate a little bit more into what's going on within the Somali community as far as this kind of crazy right-wing influencer stuff that's going on with these kids that are out here trying to trick people going into the daycare centers. Obviously, a lot of what they're reporting is fraudulent and not true. It's provably false.
I'm definitely going to cover this.
I found one guy on Twitter. Somebody sent me some screenshots, and I went and looked, and he had been posting, wait for it, masturbation videos. I'm not kidding you. Earlier, and now he's out here doing this daycare thing. So, a lot of these kids in that kind of groyper sphere, they are very attracted to what I would call clout chasing, right? It's notoriety. They might not even have any real commitment to these ideals, but they are committed to getting clout. So this is a way that they do it. They want to create this content, get a little notoriety from it. The whole reporting, a lot of the reporting I did on the 764 group, it very much similar. Even though these kids use a lot of Nazi ideology, symbolism, it doesn't mean they're full-blown Nazis. They just think it's edgy, Leave that conversation for another day. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now, but if you're not a member, please consider becoming a Status Quo member. You're $5 a month.
Did the left actually just get something right that people on the right refuse to understand? That most of them are not actually Nazis. They're just being edgy on the internet? I cannot believe she understood that. That's crazy. The far left reporter understands what people on the right refuse to wrap their head around. They're not Nazis. They're just being edgy on the internet, you retards. All right. Well, that is going to end their coverage today, guys. And I have about an hour before I have to do Socialism Saturday. So I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to figure out what we're watching for Socialism Saturday. We may just be watching other coverage from today. To be honest, we may be watching something else. I don't really know yet. I'm going to figure that out in the next hour. But I want to thank everyone who came out for this breaking news coverage. Now, there's going to be a lot of things we're going to be doing covering the left in 2026. Holy shit, it's 2026. I cannot even believe that. Guys, we are going to be covering the ongoing leftist response to what's going on in Venezuela. We're also going to be covering, I'm absolutely going to be covering how the left is covering and responding to Nick Shirley and all the daycare stuff and the Somali fraud stuff. I think that's going to be really interesting. As a reminder, the goal of this channel is to expose the ideology, the ideas, the organizing tactics, the strategy of the radical revolutionary far left. If you appreciate what I do, you can find a massive archive of my work over on my Substack. That is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. Make sure you are subscribed on my Substack. It is totally for free to subscribe there. You can be the first to see some of my breaking news stories, my exclusive independent journalism when it comes out, clips and interviews and stuff like that. I also do exclusive live streams over on the Substack that don't necessarily happen here. So make sure you sign up over there and make sure you're supporting my work if you're able to. $8 a month, $80 a year. Also, thank you to everyone who sent in super chats today. Thank you to Cynthia for all those wonderful gifted channel memberships. Thank you to Kazmar for the $20 super chat, the afternoon delight. I like that, Kazmar. Guys, I will be back in about an hour. And in the meantime, take care, guys, and we'll see you.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here? 3 months, May 17th. And what brought you here? That's difficult to answer. I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital? That's difficult to answer.